Hello everyone and welcome back to Destiny. It is hard to believe that we are less than a month from that glorious Destiny 2 beta, and of course that beta will be answering a lot of questions we still have about the game, like how progression works, how the economy of the game is set up, and also Bungie is hinting at special surprises that we may experience in the beta. But anyways, for this video, I thought we'd touch on all of the Crucible information we learned last week, as well as my take on the whole situation. And yes, it is a bit of a situation as we have come to learn. So anyways, let's get into it. And before we get started, I still want to invite you to leave your questions and comments down below for a Destiny 2 Q&A. Like I mentioned before, we got a lot of great information about the game over the past couple weeks, so I'm looking forward to your questions so we can dive into those topics in much greater detail. So sometimes we have to talk about the parts of Destiny 2 that are not so great. Today is one of those days. If you followed my Destiny 2 coverage over the past couple months, you know my favorite phrase to use in reference to features and changes that may be questionable is the phrase cautiously optimistic. This means that I don't have enough information to form a full opinion yet, but because I do believe in Luke Smith's vision and his ability to deliver on satisfying player experiences, I have a generally positive outlook. So, for the most part, I am cautiously optimistic about the success of Destiny 2 as a whole. The simplification of these subclasses, while surprising, makes sense if you see them from their perspective. I made a video on this topic a couple weeks ago discussing how the new systems might make things better in the long run, and for the most part, I'm still sticking to my guns on that one. I'm looking forward to achieving this mastery that Luke Smith keeps referencing to, and it seems like they're trying to fulfill that vision by streamlining certain systems, like the subclasses, and rehashing others like the new weapon slots. However, there is one area that is left seemingly incomplete, and that is the Crucible. You may have been following other content creators on YouTube and Twitch, venting their frustrations about certain changes or omissions, and in this case, I'm in agreement with a lot of those concerns. So what are those concerns and why is it such a problem? Well, let's start with the facts. The Crucible has been changed in many ways. All activities are now 4v4, the Crucible's UI has received a massive upgrade to tell us more information about the game, as well as where your opponents are. Some of the new features include where an enemy is pulled power ammo from, and what weapon they have equipped in that slot, where everyone is with their supers. They all contribute to make the Crucible a much more strategic and competitive-friendly experience. And it's set up to allow you to quote-unquote master the game. The confirmed game modes are as follows. There will be 2 playlists for the Crucible as confirmed by Luke Smith in the latest issue of Game Informer, a quick play playlist that will include Control, Clash, and Supremacy, and then what is described as a competitive playlist that will include the new mode Countdown, as well as a mode that they have yet to reveal. But you can bet that it'll be another objective-based mode. So unless I'm misreading this literal usage of the game's terms we know from Destiny 1, you can imagine 2 nodes to select from when you want to play the Crucible. Also, again, since the Crucible is now only 4v4 across all game modes, that means that game modes like Rumble are not returning. This actually all sounds pretty great. I'm okay with rotating through game types in the playlist as Crucible maps are now designed with a single game type in mind, so you can expect an experience very similar to Overwatch, quick play and competitive. However, the thing that is missing from this is a ranking system. Not only that, but it doesn't seem like it's a priority for Bungie, so we may not even see it anytime soon. Luke Smith did mention that they are looking at adding a ranking system, but it's not something that is guaranteed for launch. However, he does mention that there will be a way for you to show off your competitive prowess, as he sort of brushes off competitive as nothing more than your ability to show off a trophy. And I have to say, I take slight issue with this because a ranking system to me is so much more than just a way to earn a trophy. It's a way to get pit up against people around your skill level and to see who comes out on top, who had the better team comp, gunplay, and strategy. Now, I play a lot of Overwatch despite not really being much of a competitive player, and one of the reasons is because the competitive mode drives me to get better at the game. I have my sights on achieving things like Diamond rank, for instance, and that gets me much more emotionally invested in each match. I mean, you don't have to watch too much of this Crucible footage before you to see that I'm not the greatest PvP player, but I still find it very addictive. I actively try to learn and understand the game on a higher level, i.e., try to achieve mastery. With this structure missing from the conception of Destiny 2's competitive Crucible, I'm genuinely worried that they have done all of this work to make the Crucible so much better, but haven't followed through on what players are looking for as far as their reason to even care about doing well. In Destiny 1, the Crucible is very casual. Even Trials rewards you for not doing well and gives you alternative prizes that specifically don't require you to win. I'm actively against the fact that we have a Age of Triumph record book that gets you 100% completion without even touching the Trials page. I think if you can't achieve every part of the record book, then you shouldn't be able to complete it. Sure, you can let players still buy the shirt with something like 77% completion, let's say, do something fun with the Bungie number, but if I don't complete 100% of the book, then I don't complete 100% of the book. If I don't achieve the rank I want in a particular Overwatch season, I accept that and strive to do better next time around. Now, we know that there is a Trials mode of some kind coming in the launch window, so perhaps learning more about that will quell some of our fears and concerns. So while I do want to remain cautiously optimistic for the new game as a whole, they are making things a little bit more difficult in this department. I hope they come to realize how important a ranking system is to competitive Crucible, especially to a brand new audience of players on PC who will be picking up this game for the first time, especially after maybe hearing some not so great things about the previous game. First impressions are huge, and while I'm excited that PvE content is priority number one, it's not worth it at the expense of a complete competitive Crucible experience. My favorite part of Destiny is that there is an activity for every mood. Some days I may want to raid with my clan, some days I may want to crack open a beer and run some patrols, and some days, perhaps when I have more energy, I may want to put my nose to the grindstone and prove myself in the Crucible, and as of right now, there doesn't seem to really be a way for me to do that. Anyways, as you could probably tell, I could talk much longer about this, but I'll save it until we have more information, hopefully sooner than later. But anyways, what do you think of the lack of a Crucible ranking system and a revamped Crucible that is set up to cater to a more competitive audience? Hearing me say it that way, leave your thoughts in the comments below, as well as any questions you have for the Q&A. Oh, and before I go, this week will be your final opportunity to contribute to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital by purchasing one of my shirts on the website. The GuardianCon charity stream starts tomorrow, and as a community, we are striving to reach $1 million in donations. And $5 from every shirt purchased will be going towards that goal. Together we raised over $300, so a huge thanks to everyone who picked up a shirt. And like I said, there is still time, so if you want to pick up a shirt or learn more about GuardianCon and its charity work, you'll find links down below. Be sure to drop a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe for more Destiny content. And I will see you all next time. The footage you're watching before you is 4K 60 frames per second PC footage off a section of the Homecoming story mission that was available to players during E3. If I had any doubts on making my transition over to the PC for Destiny 2, this footage has sold me 1000%. This game looks absolutely stunning.